The county line, there's something fishy in the air, and it's coming from a local stream. We're investigating.
And no more smoking in most public places in PA. Hear what local businesses are saying about the new state smoking ban.
And fall sports kick off again. Find out all your scores and stats on Titantown Sports with Melissa Maines.
We're live.
We're local. The county line starts now.
New Wilmington residents are concerned about the stench coming from McClure Run. Good evening, I'm Alex Hines.
And I'm Amanda Conway. Thanks for joining us for our first county line of this school year. Over the weekend, residents near McClure Run reported a strange odor coming from the creek. That smell is leading to hundreds of dead fish and an investigation by the DEP and Westminster College. You can smell the creek in your backyard and on campus, so where is it coming from? The DEP has not released the cause yet, but Borough Superintendent Fred Garrett says it's coming from the township into the borough.
The McClure Run pollution is sparking interest in both the biology and the creek. They have been testing water samples and dissecting fish to find out what is polluting the stream. Later in our program, we will speak with Dr. Helen Boylan about the college's investigation.
The McClure Run pollution comes just on the heel of the completion of the $400,000 renovation of the stream. Crews completed the project over the weekend by planting shrubs and trees along the creek bank. Workers slowed the flow of the stream, making the creek's watershed more eco-friendly.
October marks the end of 3 decades of locally owned and operated cable TV in the borough of New Wilmington. Butler-based Armstrong Cable takes over operations following the official sale of the system this week by the Borough Council. In a 6-to-1 vote, the council members made the $2 million deal official. So what will happen on October 1st when Armstrong takes over? The County Line's Nikki Pizar has more.
They're now running fiber optic cable from Volant to New Wilmington as the Butler-based company prepares to hook up New Wilmington to its cable TV system. So what can New Wilmington customers expect at the beginning of October?
Nothing will change day one in New Wilmington. Within 30 or 60 days, I think the residents will start to see new services available. We certainly plan to provide local phone service. We offer a unlimited local and long-distance package for our customers. We'll also offer VOD into the community, a video-on-demand service. We have about 30 high-definition television channels that will be new to the community, as well as we'll bring some enhancements to the existing internet service.
Borough Council members approved the sale of the town's owned and operated system to Armstrong. What once generated about $200,000 a year for the borough is now owned by Armstrong Cable. Council members wanted to get out of the cable business. Rising costs and required upgrades for digital and high-definition cable make it easier for a commercial company to operate. The borough also approved a franchise agreement making Armstrong the official cable provided to 1,000 customers, as well as the college community.
The cable network will continue to function as Armstrong takes over. The deal to sell included an agreement keeping WCN on the air. The partnership will also allow WCN to broadcast next week's Lawrence County Band Festival live from Elwood City, which is served by Armstrong. The broadcast is live at 7:30 on the Armstrong Cable System Channel 10. Unfortunately, the Band Festival will be offered on tape delay in New Wilmington and on the Comcast cable system. The program airs next Thursday at 8 o'clock after the county line.
Renovations continue on McGill Library here at Westminster College. Although the library is available for use by the campus and the community, parts of the structure are still incomplete. As part of the changes, the main door of the library was moved, and a lift will be added to provide greater handicap access. College librarian Molly Spinney hopes that the fences surrounding the building will come down and the new entrance will be open by the end of the month. Finishing touches should be complete by October 17th when the library's dedication kicks off Westminster's homecoming weekend.
Still to come on the county line, Dr. Helen Boylan of the Chemistry Department speaks with us about McClure Run.
The state smoking ban takes effect today. Find out how area businesses are dealing with the new measure.
And Titantown Sports brings you all of your local sports action.
Stay tuned, more County Line is on the way.
Have lost this parking further from the stadium and walking in.
Remember, if there's ever an emergency, we meet here at the bottom of the driveway.
And I'll get the emergency disaster kit out of the kitchen.
Once we're all together, then we'll decide what to do.
But what about Fido?
What about Fido? The Lawrence County Humane Society reminds you to include your pets in your disaster planning. Make sure that your pets have identification tags that include your phone number. To find out more about how to protect your pets in a disaster, contact the Lawrence County Humane Society.
Come on! This way!
Who is that guy?
I don't know! Hurry up! He's right behind us!
I know!
Come on, get up!
407 years ago.
Think history is a little scary? Then log on to loc.gov and see how much fun it can be. The Library of Congress at loc.gov.
What do you got there, Dave?
Looks like someone's thunder thighs.
They must have lost them playing in the snow with their kids. Let's get back to work.
The Newcastle Police is joining forces with the fire department to investigate a rash of what they believe to be arsons. Early Saturday morning, fire crews responded to a blaze at a vacant home on Oak Street. It is the second vacant house fire in the neighborhood in less than a week. Both the police and fire departments are patrolling nightly in the area in an effort to gather more information about the fires.
Using unmarked cars, using bicycles, using motorcycles, especially east side area where we've had 4 in the last 6 weeks. But we are keeping an eye out on all areas of town also. You have everybody from the police to the firemen to the neighbors to people living in the house. I mean, it can get out of control and hurt any number of people. We take it seriously for that reason and plan on putting them away for a long time if we catch them.
A Westminster College student faces drug and gun charges tonight after New Wilmington police arrested him on Wednesday. Police say Eric Desmond Brown of Youngstown had a .38 caliber handgun under his car seat and a small amount of marijuana in the glove compartment. While Brown is licensed for the gun in Ohio, police say he failed to have a Pennsylvania gun license. Police arrested Brown after he agreed to a search of his car parked along a borough street. Brown is free on bond with a hearing on the charges scheduled for next week.
Today marks the first day of the new Pennsylvania smoking ban. The new measure prohibits smoking in almost all public places throughout the state. This week I went out to find out how some local businesses were dealing with the new ban. Wednesday night was the end of smoking in restaurants across the state, but here at the Quaker Steak and Lube in Sharon, you'd never have guessed it was coming so soon.
Today is the last day in Pennsylvania you can legally smoke inside, so we're kind of celebrating that because we've been a smoking establishment for 34 years.
But the Lube isn't alone. Across the state, other restaurants have had to make the same changes. In Lawrence County, the Crane Room Grill also prepared for today's shift.
It's going to be tough at first. I do believe that people should have their own choice in the matter whether they want to smoke or not, or at least we should have been asked about whether we want our patrons to have that choice. But as what they say, it's all over with now. The decision's made, and we'll abide by it.
Now, the ban affects more than just restaurants. Other businesses throughout the state will have to make some changes. Hotels are one type of business also affected by the ban. Only 25% of any hotel's rooms can be designated for smoking. But for one area hotel, that's already business as usual.
As of right now, nothing will be changing. We do have both smoking and non-smoking rooms in the hotel right now, so as of right now, nothing has changed due to the smoking ban.
Despite the sweeping changes, some businesses are unaffected by the ban. Tully's, the bar attached to the Lube, will be able to allow smoking under a provision that allows smoking in any place where food is a smaller percentage of a business's sales. The ban does not affect Westminster since it is a private institution. However, college regulations already prohibit smoking in any building on campus.
Blood banks in western Pennsylvania are hurting. Some counties are so low on blood, they've been canceling surgeries. I spoke with the Red Cross about the Lawrence and Mercer County blood supply and what people can do to donate. This is Dave Meyer. He has been donating for about 8 years. Since 9/11, he has come every 8 weeks to give a part of him to help others.
Well, to help people out. People need, everybody needs blood, I guess.
The need for blood is severe. The Red Cross wants to have at least a 5-day supply of blood. Right now, they only have 3 days' worth.
People coming out to give blood, I mean, that's simply it. When people don't give blood, there just isn't any.
The process is simple, but a little overwhelming for a first-timer. First, you come in and fill out your paperwork in a waiting room. You then go over your history in a private booth. This is where you find out if you can give blood or not. Once you get the go-ahead, you lie down on a table, squeeze a ball, and you barely feel the pinprick. The Red Cross reports that 35% of the population can give blood, but only about 5% do. The twist is about 97% of the population will need blood to save their lives.
You just need to be 16 years of age, 110 pounds, and in good health. That's the basic requirements for giving blood.
Whatever the need for blood is, Dave Meyer is still here every 8 weeks. He says it hardly even affects him.
Maybe a little lightheaded sometimes, but that's no big deal.
If you would like to donate, a blood drive is held every Tuesday afternoon at the Trinity Episcopal Church on North Mill Street in Newcastle.
Area residents are taking time today to remember the victims of the attacks on the World Trade Center 7 years ago to the day. 2 people with area roots are also being remembered by their families. Ruth Kettler of Grove City and Ludwig Picaro of Newcastle were both in the World Trade Center towers when they fell. A memorial was held in Shanksville, PA at the time of the Flight 93 plane crash, 9:55 a.m. The heroes of the flight's names were read aloud as a bell chimed twice. A concert was also held here at Westminster College, sponsored by the music department faculty.
Dr. Helen Boylan of the Chemistry Department is here to talk with the County Line's Bill Sadler about their classroom investigations on McClure Run.
While walking past McClure's Run, you may have noticed a foul odor, or maybe one of your neighbors or residents on campus have told you about it. Well, some students here on the Westminster campus decided to take their own investigative reports as to what is causing this smell. Tonight we have Dr. Helen Boylan of Environmental Science and her student Fred Romeo. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Well, can you tell us as to what exactly is causing this smell?
We're really unsure right now. We're considering all of our options, I guess. We're really exploring a lot of different possibilities. It's really a vigorous scientific investigation. We have 2 classes that are involved. So we have the Environmental Science course, which is a cluster course with Dr. Swerdlow's Introduction to Environmental Literacy, and also my Chemical Analysis course, both sets of students working on the project.
Okay. Now you're part of this class, right, Fred?
Yes, I'm part of the quantitative chemical analysis class.
Okay, now what steps have you taken as part of this class to find some research results?
Well, as a sort of a class group, we've gone out, taken some samples. We've also done some exploring, moved upstream, tried to see if we can find any point sources. I have not been able to do that yet, but we also took those samples, prepared them, and then ran some tests on them to try to see if we could sort of figure out what is actually polluting the stream.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you gotten any results back yet?
We have some interesting leads, I guess I would say. My suspicion is that it has a distinct smell, and the smell, what I would categorize as a volatile organic compound, and you may not know what that smells like, but I did bring a sample, and I thought you might want to take a smell.
Okay. Well, I haven't smelled it yet, so actually
And I would encourage you just to waft the vapor into your nose.
Wow, that would be
pretty intense.
A smell to smell all the time. I don't know if I'd want to smell that. Do you do you think that this may be man-made or some kind of a chemical that had leaked into the stream, or?
Based on smell, and that's not a great way to judge, is that it does tend to have a volatile organic compound odor, and so that tends to lean toward the man-made sort of a source.
Okay. Now, since the stream does run, since the source could be coming from another place, is this contaminating any of the water systems or water supply that goes to the residents?
I don't know, do you want to talk about?
Well, the reports say, it started right around Saturday or Friday, a couple days ago, and at that time, the actual smell has not made it down the campus. The recent rain we had seems to have pushed some of it downstream. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the fish kills have not started yet, real far downstream. So it doesn't look like it's moved very far from really McClure's Run yet. Okay. So it does not look like it's made it downstream to, say, the Shenango Reservoir or major rivers like the Ohio River or anything like that. So
I would say, though, that some residents in the area may be concerned with the well water being contaminated, and I would tell them that unless they have a distinct odor or something that they can taste in the water, that they're probably not being affected.
Okay. Now, the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection Agency, is doing their own research right now on this. With this, is there any idea as to where this could be coming from?
The DEP actually suspects that it's a sewage leak, so they're sort of pursuing that avenue. We are sort of pursuing more of a chemical avenue and doing tests along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Now, if they do find the source of this, what could clean this out, or what even could clean out some kind of a contaminated water in any other instances?
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to, if this is a continual input, like some sort of leachage, they would obviously find that source, dig that up, and in a lot of ways they're going to, rely on Mother Nature to, sort of
run its course.
Yeah.
Now, with this class, I understand that you were dissecting some fish. I don't know if that was your portion or if that was another portion, but what's the reaction with finding a real life kind of interesting science fact?
Well, something like this, although it's you don't want it to happen, but it definitely provides an excellent learning tool. I mean, you could sit down in class, you can get lectured, and you still learn, but nothing. You don't learn as much as you would hands-on in a real life sort of environmental spill or whatever it may be. So although it's unfortunate that it did happen, it provides, an excellent opportunity for students.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If I could just follow up with that, it's one thing to read about a case study, a fish kill. It's a different thing to go out, walk the stream bed, smell that pungent odor, and see the fish that are lying there dead and the other ones that are struggling to survive. It's powerful.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we find some results from this, and make sure you stay tuned for more County Line, because there's more after this break.
Hi everybody, this is Tim McGraw for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. I spend a lot of time on the road and I see some funny things out there, but one thing that's not so funny is someone who's about to drive drunk. So take the keys and be a friend, because friends don't let friends drive drunk.
So nice out here.
Yeah, I used to come out here when I was a kid. Nothing.
No, I definitely heard something.
Who's that?
Get out of here! What are you doing? Stop the door!
Okay. He does? Come on, baby.
Think history is a little scary? Then log on to LOC.gov and see how much fun it can be. The Library of Congress at LOC.gov.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. Feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
Good evening, sports fans. I'm Melissa Maines, and welcome back to this season's first edition of Titan Town Sports. Our Titantown sports reporter Douglas Kunst is following the Greyhound football team this season. He has the highlights from last week's game against Greenville.
Hello everyone, I'm Doug Kunst reporting on the field of the Greyhound Stadium, where tonight the Wilmington will play host to the Greenville Trojans. We'll see if the Greyhounds can win back-to-back games. Now follow the running back real close. Boom! That was Sutton Wadding dropping the hammer. Don't let it size for you because the kid plays as if he were 10 bricks on the field. First and 10 for the Greyhounds. Ball pitched to Whiting. Good blocking. Punches the B button for the spin move, and he will take it 30 yards for the touchdown. Next possession, Wagner to pass, throws, gets a lot of air under it, and it will fall right into the basket of Carson Shawbaugh for the touchdown. Hounds up 14-0. Carson will have a big day, 5 catches, 170 yards, and 1 TD for the game. Wagner, flush to his left, throws on the run. The ball is going to be tipped by a Trojan defender and falls right into the lap of Dallas Hartman, who will just have to walk it in the end zone for the score, 21-0. Opening drive, third quarter. Wagner going to find Jake the medal on the touchdown pass, 25 yards. The Greyhounds hitting on all cylinders tonight, with finish with 435 yards in total offense compared to Greenville's 226. Wilmington will go in to turn another dominating performance, defeating the Greenville Trojans 49-13. Reporting from the Greyhound Stadium, I'm Doug Kunst for Titantown Sports.
And tomorrow night, the Greyhounds will travel to take on their rival, Grove City. And on to Titan Sports, we begin with women's volleyball. They're coming off of a win against Allegheny and will be back in action tomorrow at the Volley Against Violence tournament. The Lady Titans tennis team had a streak of 4 straight 9-0 wins until yesterday. They fell to Allegheny 7-2. It was the first time since 1986 they were 4-0. Next we have women's soccer. They are winning big and will play at Penn State Barron Saturday. Men's soccer, on the other hand, is coming off of a loss. Hopefully they can bring home a W as they play tomorrow at Pitt Greensburg. This Saturday, the new turf at Bury Stadium will get its first game action as the Titan football team takes on Allegheny. Prior to kickoff, there will be a dedication of the Joseph Fusco and Jerry Neff entranceway at Bury Stadium. The Titan turf is part of a nearly $2 million renovation. If you can't make it to the game, you can catch all of the action as Dr. B and Adam Plyler will be broadcasting live on Titan Radio and TitanRadio.net. This week in high school football, Wilmington travels to Grove City after their domination over Greenville. Newcastle hopes to redeem themselves at Blackhawk. Mohawk continues their victory streak at Riverside. Laurel defends their home turf against Southside Beaver. Neshannock travels to Shenango, and Union plays at home against Rochester, which can be seen on PCN as this week's featured Game of the Week. Now we will hear how one Westminster graduate has brought new heart to the Greyhound soccer field.
Well, my senior year of college, I broke my leg in half. So it was one where it was either be done with soccer your entire life or get involved with kids. And again, being a teacher, I mean, it's a job where if you're only in the classroom, you have a limited access to the kids. You get to see the kids in a different environment whenever you teach them outside of soccer. Again, these kids love when someone else is caring about them, caring about what they do. And I see these kids in the classroom, and then it just carries right over. And you get a little bit more of a personal relationship with the kid. Over! Coaching is an avenue, obviously, that's going to be available whenever you teach. And it's one where, as long as I'll teach, I'll have to coach. It's one where I don't see one happening for me without the other. Even if I have to wait for a position to open, if I ever leave schools and go to a different one, I'll wait. But I do have aspirations to teach at the college level and eventually even coach at the college level. So it's one where I like progressing academically, but then also within my skills as a coach, too. I don't like to stay at the same level as anything else. I like to see the kids grow, but me grow at the exact same time. I just let them know I'm 5'6", 145, 150 pounds. I am not your gifted athlete as far as your stats or anything like that, but I definitely prove that you work hard, and half the game is intelligence. You have to know the game. It's not, I run out there and I outplay everyone athletically. And it's one where you combine your natural smarts, your natural brains, put that in with hard work. Strong work ethic always goes a long way. combine both those things, it's going to work. And that's the kind of message I send to these guys. And also, be nice to everyone. You enjoy this game and you're nice to everyone, it actually becomes a fun game. If you're given gifts, don't waste them. I mean, God gives you the ability and the skill to do other things, and He gives people the opportunities as well to share those with other people. Not necessarily even coaching, but sharing it with your kids, different things like that. I mean, you have to share your knowledge with everybody else, or else it's being selfish.
And congratulations to this week's SAC Player of the Week, junior volleyball player Beth Kopp. Kopp is a graduate of Seneca Valley High School. She was named to the all-tournament team of the Marcia French Memorial Invitation at Baldwin Wallace. Kopp has some fantastic stats. She's posted over 2.5 kills per set and almost 3 digs per set to go with 3 blocks. And finally, on to our extra innings portion of the show. The Pittsburgh Steelers will travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns. This is a game you are not going to want to miss. You can catch it all Sunday night. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition of Titantown Sports. I'm Melissa Maines, and I'll see you next week.
Batteries in the flashlight. Okay, you know what?
That guy? Look.
Okay, girls at 3 o'clock.
What is he looking at? They're looking at us. What do you think?
Oh, that's so obvious. Captain Obvious has scored again.
Oh, you want to say something? Oh, he's really gonna down.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Honey, would you get me some ice cream?
Ice cream?
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some things you just can't do without. It happens every night, all across America.
No one wants to be in debt, but the truth is that most of us are. For 51 years, Consumer Credit Counseling has been in the business of helping people find their way out of debt. The professionals at Consumer Credit Counseling want to help you move on with your life. With their local office in Sharon, it's easy to get started. Visit their website, cccservices.com. That's CCCservices.com. Consumer Credit Counseling, financial help in any crisis. You can control your debt. Consumer Credit Counseling will show you how.
Westminster College's resident mummy is on vacation for the month of September.
That's right. Pesed the Mummy is at the Lawrence County Historical Society as part of a display about ancient Egypt.
Pesed was taken off campus earlier this month in high style. One of her pallbearers was new Westminster President Dr. Dorman.
She is on display with the Lawrence County's Native American artifacts from about the time that she was mummified.
The woodland Indians, oftentimes called a Dina or Hopewell or mound builder, developed this mound building culture. Changes in their religious structure and in their societal evolution, really, they came together.
Pesed will return to Westminster's Max Science Library at the end of the month.
Pymatuning State Park's new policy prohibiting feeding bread to the fish was met with anger at a meeting in Linesville Monday night. The bread is leading to overpopulation of the geese, which is leading to geese droppings, taking visitors away from the park. Visitors looking to feed fish still can. Fish pellets are being supplied. The idea behind the policy is to feed the fish, not the geese.
Tune in again next Thursday for the next edition of The County Line.
And an encore presentation Friday evening at 7:30 on New Wilmington Channel 9 and Comcast Channel 10.
Have a good night.
you know, and that they were in the process of trying to get his stuff back.
Now, foundation still, I don't know
Yeah,
what he's.
there's no foundation for that, Mr. Galanter. So the objection sustained.
Hold on, one minute, Judge.
You're listening in right now to the O.J. Simpson trial in Las Vegas, trying to determine exactly what happened in that hotel room 1 year ago. You've been listening for more than an hour plus 2 hours, to the cross-examination of Thomas Riccio. We're going to take a quick break. After the break, we'll bring you back to the O.J. Simpson trial. This is Headline News.
It's a lovely day to be together.
What are you going to miss when you have an allergy attack? Benadryl is more effective than the leading allergy medicine at relieving your worst symptoms, like runny nose, sneezing, and watery eyes, and works when you need it most. Benadryl, you can't pause life. And for allergy symptoms with congestion, Benadryl D relieves your allergies and your sinus congestion.
You're looking at the most abundant fuel in our country. You're looking at an American resource that will help us toward vital energy security into the next century. But most of all, you're looking at 50% of our electricity, coal. It's the resource that generates half of our electricity at a third the cost of most other fuels. It's the fuel that powers our way of life. Learn more about America's Power at americaspower.org.
It was that day at the airport. Carl had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Grandma, Grandpa!
But I waited to see how he did. Julie?
I'm Amy, Grandpa.
That day I knew I couldn't wait. Our doctor told us prescription Aricept is the only treatment proven effective for all stages of Alzheimer's. Studies showed Aricept slows the progression of Alzheimer's symptoms. It improves cognition and slows the decline of overall function. We started Carl on it right away.
Aricept is well tolerated, but not for everyone. People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicines should tell their doctors, because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may get worse. Some people may experience fainting. Some people may have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bruising, or not sleep well. Some people may have muscle cramps or loss of appetite or may feel tired. In studies, these were usually mild and temporary.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Talk to your doctor about Alzheimer's treatments, including Aricept. Don't wait. Alzheimer's isn't waiting.
Closed captioning hours provided by Passages Addiction Cure Center, Malibu, California.
To end your dependency on drugs, alcohol, or addictive prescription medications, read my book, The Alcoholism and Addiction Cure. To get it, call 888-THE-CURE.
Welcome back, everyone. 2:40 Eastern Time. Right now, we take you back to Las Vegas, where O.J. Simpson is on trial once again, fighting for his freedom. On the right-hand side, you see his attorney. On the left-hand side, Thomas Riccio. He's been on the stand close to 3 hours now, being cross-examined by the defense team. Let's listen in now to what he has to say.
The actual recorder in like 8 days.
Okay. And during, what does it take you, 3 days to strike up the deal with TMZ?
No, it only took a couple hours once I decided to do it. They were real quick about making the deal.
Okay, so TMZ was real interested in getting this tape?
Oh, yeah.
They were actually chomping at the bit to get the tape, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And was it you or your partner that actually made the deal with Mr. Levin?
I had my partner and my lawyer and me. We all made the deal together.
Okay. And you and your partners were paid a significant amount of money?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. How much?
I'm under contract not to discuss that. And I made a deal with the court during the prelim to turn over the contract.
Well,
not to make it.
I was there. So can
not
we?
Me.
Not there. Not this court. So, Mr. Riccio, how much were you paid by TMZ for the tape?
Well, the court knows that already.
Mr. Riccio, how much money were you paid by TMZ for the tape?
I'm under contract not to discuss that.
Okay. Judge, I would ask you to order him to answer the question.
Mr. Riccio, I don't have any knowledge about how much you were paid. I don't have any arrangements with you not to say anything, so you need to answer the question.
That's an order, a court order?
I'm ordering you to
All
tell
right,
me.
that's the only way I'm allowed to talk about it.
It's an order.
It's an order.
$150,000.
Okay. Did you make anything other than $150,000 from TMZ? In other words, did they pay any of your expenses, hotel bills, travel expenses?
Not from TMZ, no.
Okay. Did you get, other than the book, and we're going to talk about the book in a second, were you paid for any other information that you had about this case by any other source?
We made deals with other sources.
Who were the sources?
ABC paid me 15 grand. Entertainment Tonight paid, geez, I forget, 25,000. We had deals with Howard Stern's show where we used their sponsors.
All right, we're going to go through them. What was it that ABC paid you $15,000 for?
That's a good question. They kept saying we can't pay you for an interview or the tape. It's against their rules or whatever. And then we kept saying, well, then we're not gonna let you. We're not gonna do anything. And then they said, well, do you have a picture with OJ? And I said, yeah. I said, okay, we'll pay you for that. So we had ways around certain things.
But clearly it was your impression that they were paying you for your version of events.
We don't care how they wanted to word it as long as we were getting paid.
Okay.
We went within their loopholes. We complied with.
So you got $150,000 from TMZ, $15,000 from ABC. How much did Entertainment Tonight pay you?
I believe it was 25 grand.
Okay. And what was that for?
Same kind of thing. It was an interview, but they wanted to cover themselves. They wanted the only ones that were happy to buy just the tape were TMZ. Everyone else wanted to make it seem like